You won't believe how quickly your mind can shift from chaos to complete calm. Most people spend hours tossing and turning. But what if I told you that your body already knows exactly how to unwind? You just need to give it permission. So, let's do that right now. Find yourself a position that feels proper, lovely, not stiff, not forced. Just somewhere your body can properly settle. Let those shoulders drop away from your ears, like they've finally remembered they don't need to hold up the world. If you're sat down, let your belly go soft and uncurl those toes that have been cramped up in your shoes all day. And if you're lying down, let the back of your head sink into that pillow like it is the only job it has ever had. Before we properly dive in, I'd absolutely love to hear from you later in the comments. Your voice matters here. And honestly, knowing where you're re-listening from helps everyone else feel a bit less alone in their own corners of the world. So when you're done with this meditation, pop a little note down below. Tell us where you are. Maybe it's a tiny flat in Manchester, a university room in Edinburgh, or you're on a night shift somewhere in London. You could describe the small things, the hum of your radiator, the glow from your bedside lamp, or maybe there's a cup of tea going cold on your nightstand. Those little details, they make this space feel like we're all sat in the same cozy living room together. Right then, take a gentle breath in through your nose, like you're breathing in the smell of fresh rain or warm bread. Then let it go through your mouth with a soft sigh. Don't force it. Just let it happen naturally, like a yawn that rises up all on its own without you even trying. Breathe again, nice and easy, letting that inhale roll in like the tide knows exactly where the shore is, and letting that exhale drift out like a silk ribbon floating on air. If it feels right, close your eyes or just soften your gaze towards one spot. We're not trying to make anything happen here, because your nervous system already knows how to relax when you stop fighting it and give it a bit of time. All we're doing is showing up with patience, with gentleness, and with just a tiny spark of curiosity about what might unfold. Notice the simple weight of your body. Feel how gravity holds you without asking for anything in return. Notice how your chair or mattress meets you with steady support, and that support doesn't waver. Even when your thoughts are bouncing around like they've had too much coffee, let your jaw go slack, creating just a small space between your teeth. Let your tongue rest there like a leaf that's settled on still water. As you breathe, imagine each inhale is gathering up all the scattered bits of your day and setting them gently to one side. And each exhale is emptying out your pockets from anything heavy you can leave behind for now. If your to-do list pops up, thank it for being so eager to help, and promise you I'll come back to it when this quiet moment is finished. Then let that list float to the edge of your awareness like a note you've set on the windowsill. You might hear sounds around you or outside your window. You don't need to push them away or label them as distractions. Invite those sounds to be part of this meditation, like they're friendly guests who are welcome to sit quietly in the back. Let each sound arrive and leave like waves that reach the shore and slip away again without any fuss. Bring your attention to the breath moving at the base of your nose. Notice the cooler air coming in and the warmer air leaving your body. If focusing on your nose doesn't feel comfortable, you can follow the breath at your chest. at your belly, or even by feeling the rise and fall of your entire body. Choose whatever anchor feels most effortless, because your comfort is the doorway to proper, steady concentration. We'll count a few breaths together, not like you're doing maths homework, but like a soft rhythm that cradles you. Breathe in for a gentle count of 4, noticing how the breath blooms inside you. Hold for a tender count of 2, sensing that stillness at the top of the breath. Then breathe out for a count of 6, allowing that exhale to be longer and soothing, like a slow stream finding its way downhill. Repeat this easy pattern a few times, and if counting feels tiring, just let your breath return to its natural pace. When thoughts wander off, which they absolutely will, because minds love to travel, you can smile inwardly and say, "I see you. Cheers for that, and I'm choosing to come back to my breath now." There's no telling off here, no need to be perfect, because returning is the practice. Every single return strengthens the kindness of your attention. Now imagine a small, steady lantern glowing softly in the center of your chest, bright enough to see, gentle enough to be soothing. With each inhale, that lantern gathers light like a quiet sunrise. With each exhale, that light spills outward, washing over your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, and your scalp in a wave of proper calm. Let that light roll down both arms and into your hands. Notice any tingling or warmth or subtle pulsing that tells you your body is actually listening. Let the light move through your ribs and soften your belly, like your breath has suddenly found more room to wander about. Allow it to travel through your lower back and hips, loosening anything that feels braced or clenched. Let it flow through your thighs, your knees, and your calves, all the way down to your ankles, the soles of your feet, and your toes, until even your feet feel properly included in this moment. We're going to gently scan your body now, like a tide that moves along the shore with patience and care. Bring your awareness to your forehead and smooth it from the inside, letting any lines fade like footprints in sand. Notice the space around your eyes and invite it to widen by a breath's width, releasing any squint or inward squeeze. Sense your cheekbones and sinuses, and imagine that lantern light clearing a path there, making breathing feel like an easy conversation with yourself. Move to the back of your head and the base of your skull, where small muscles quietly work all day long. Let them rest now, like birds folding their wings at dusk. Travel down your neck and into the tops of your shoulders, where so many people carry stories they didn't even know were heavy. Allow these stories to be set down for a while. Let your upper arms soften towards the earth. Let your elbows hang like pendulums that have decided not to swing for a bit. Bring attention to your hands, noticing if one feels warmer or heavier than the other, and let both be exactly as they are, without needing to match. If there's restlessness in your fingers, give them permission to be restless and see if that permission helps them settle on their own. Return to that heart space where your lantern rests and listen for the quiet message it carries tonight. Maybe it says, "You're safe enough to soften," or "You're allowed to reset," or "You're worthy of the same compassion you give to others." Whatever you hear, let it be simple and let it be kind. Shift your awareness to your belly and the breath. Notice the gentle rise on the inhale and the calm release on the exhale. Place a hand there if it feels soothing, and feel the warmth of your own palm, telling your nervous system that comfort is right here, right now. If emotions surface, give them room without labeling them as good or bad. Imagine your breath being a mate who sits beside them until they feel seen. Bring the scan to your hips and pelvis, a place that holds more than we realize. Invite softness into the places that have been guarding your balance all day. Notice the back of your pelvis resting like a stone in a riverbed, steady and supported. Let your upper legs release their effort. Let your knees feel unburdened and steady. Notice your calves that carry you from room to room, and your shins that keep you upright, and thank them for their quiet work. Let your ankles feel loose and articulate, like hinges that have been freshly oiled. Invite the soles of your feet to broaden, as if they're meeting warm sand. And if you fancy it, wiggle your toes as a small celebration of being alive in this moment. Now widen your attention so your whole body feels like one piece again, breathing as a single, gentle organism. The breath moves in. The breath moves out. And that lantern at your center maintains its soft glow. Thoughts may drift through the room of your mind like passing clouds, and you can let them come and let them go without invitation or resistance. As you rest here, consider a simple intention for this practice, something kind and practical that supports your evening. You might choose the phrase, "May I soften enough to sleep?" Or "May I trust the slowing of my breath?" Or "May I let today end gently?" Repeat your phrase on the next few exhales, not as a command, but as a blessing you're giving yourself. If your body asks for a small adjustment, please listen and move with care, because comfort isn't a luxury in meditation, it's a wise strategy. You can shift a shoulder, tuck a pillow, or adjust a blanket. Notice if that lantern glow expands when you tend to your needs. We'll take a few rounds of soothing breath together. Once more, letting that exhale be just a touch longer than the inhale. Breathe in gently, feeling your ribs widen like curtains opening to morning light. Breathe out slowly, feeling your body sink by a small measure into trust and ease. Breathe in and welcome this present moment exactly as it is. Breathe out and let the day's momentum dissolve like the last fizz in a glass of sparkling water. If sleep is your next step, know that you don't have to do anything special, because your nervous system is already following you down that ramp towards rest. If you're planning to listen during a break or a pause in your evening, trust that even a few minutes of spacious breathing can refresh your attention. Either way, your presence here is an act of care, and that care ripples outward into the lives you'll touch tomorrow. When this session ends, I'd be proper honored if you shared where you're listening from in the comments, because your message becomes a lighthouse for someone who feels alone in their room tonight. Tell us about your city, your little corner, or the sound outside your window. Know that your words help weave a gentle circle around this community of listeners. You might write something as simple as, "I am here in Toronto, by the window with the rain," or "I'm here in Manila with a cup of chamomile," or "I'm here in a quiet dorm hallway after a long study session." Each note will be welcomed with gratitude. Before we close, bring one hand to your heart and one to your belly, and sense the rhythm between them, like the shoreline and tide in a quiet conversation. Whisper your intention once more and imagine that lantern glow settling into a steady ember that will keep you warm through the night. Trust that you can return to this breath, to this posture, and to this kindness anytime you need it. If your eyes are closed and you wish to stay here, you're invited to remain exactly as you are and drift towards sleep on your own timeline without rush or expectation. If you'd rather end the practice awake, begin inviting small motions into your fingers and toes. Let a gentle stretch move through your body like a cat greeting morning. Perhaps roll your shoulders slowly or circle your wrists and ankles, and then let the movement settle again into stillness. You're doing wonderful. Your breath already knows the way, and your body is listening to that wisdom with quiet devotion. There's nothing to prove in this moment, because rest doesn't ask for evidence. It only asks for permission. Feel that gentle rise of your inhale, as if a small tide is visiting the shore of your ribs, bringing a cool whisper of night air and patient calm. Sense the soft fall of your exhale, as if the ocean has slipped back into itself, leaving silvery traces of peace along the sand of your belly. Let the next inhale gather whatever you wish to keep nearby. Let the next exhale release anything that's ready to travel onward without you. Notice the weight of your head resting in perfect conversation with your pillow, which understands softness, like an old mate understands your laugh. Let your jaw loosen enough to feel like you could hum a lullaby without making a sound. A lullaby that's simply breath moving through a doorway of ease. Allow your shoulders to lower by a small, compassionate degree, as though they've remembered they don't need to hold up the horizon tonight. You're welcome to imagine that lantern resting at the center of your chest. A little hearth of light, steady and friendly, glowing with a tone that feels like yes. Each inhale invites that lantern to shine just a touch brighter, illuminating the delicate architecture of your calm. Each exhale allows the glow to drift outward, washing down your ribs and across your back like warm tea poured slowly and lovingly. As the light spreads, it notices what you might have missed in the rush of the day. It touches every corner with reassurance that can't be hurried. The light doesn't judge the stories you carry, because it understands how stories grow heavy when they the only ones lifting themselves. Tonight, the light offers to hold those stories for you, the way a dear friend offers to carry a bag on a long walk home. Bring your attention to your hands, those faithful interpreters of your days, and let them become heavy like river stones that have finally found the riverbed. Feel the palms cool and then warm, or warm and then cool, and trust that either way is precisely right for this moment. Let your fingers curl or lengthen as they wish, arranging themselves into the exact shape of rest without any instructions from your thinking mind. Now travel with your attention to your belly and notice how the breath meets you there with a gentleness that does need permission, yet always asks. If there's a knot, imagine it softening like a spool of ribbon loosening from the center, unspooling into ease with each breath and tide. Invite your belly to rise on the inhale and drift on the exhale, like a boat whose anchor is trust and whose destination is sleep. Let that lantern light wander to your lower back, which may have worked so quietly all day that it forgot how to Offer it the image of a door that's slightly open, a door that leads to a garden of night-blooming jasmine. Watch the muscles follow the scent into spaciousness. With every breath, the garden expands, and your body steps into it without moving even a fingertip. Your hips are the twin gates of a beautiful courtyard, sturdy and loyal, asking only for kindness and patience. Let the gates swing inward, granting passage to comfort that travels down through your thighs, where effort softens into quiet applause. Any remaining tension is simply a visitor who's arrived a little late and will soon understand that the party is actually rest. Bring awareness to your knees, which have bent towards possibility so many times. Let them be held by the mattress with a tenderness that needs no words. Allow your calves to listen to the silent lullaby now humming through the room. A song made of breath, gravity, and the reliable kindness of the night. Invite your ankles to release their tiny guardians as if a flock of little birds has lifted from the branch of vigilance and flown towards the moon. Your feet carry the map of your entire day, and the hay also carry the memory of barefoot mornings and cool floors and summer grass. Under stars, let the soles widen like pages opening in a beloved book, and let your toes uncurl like punctuation, discovering it can pause longer than it thought. From heel to ball to tip, your feet are learning a new alphabet that spells rest in every language you've ever loved. Return to that lantern at your chest and notice how it keeps time with a patient rhythm that feels both ancient and brand new. With each breath, the lantern communicates a message in small pulses that your cells understand better than any sentence. The message is simple and it's faithful, telling you that safety is present, that softness is wisdom, and that slowing down is a form of intelligence. You might notice thoughts wandering in like neighbors who don't realize how late it's become, bringing the day's stories with them in excited voices. Thank them for their enthusiasm. Pour them a cup of quiet and gently escort them to a comfortable porch where the cricket song will entertain them until morning. They can stay nearby without stepping inside, and you can visit them tomorrow when the sun's ready to take attendance again. With your mind resting closer to stillness, you may imagine a path that appears at the edge of your inner garden, lit by small stone lamps and bordered by silver grasses that sway in the nighttime breeze. You begin to walk without effort because in dreamland, every step is a soft glide and every sound is an invitation to relax more deeply. The path curves towards a lake so calm that it holds the moon like a polished bowl holds water. The surface reflects your lantern light with tender accuracy. You take a seat on a smooth rock shaped like a careful thought, and across the lake, a gentle wind sketches drowsy patterns that appear and fade without any urgency. The constellations above you tell stories older than memory, yet they tell them with such softness that no plot is required for comfort to arrive. You listen to the silence, the way one listens to a dear friend who communicates in glances and smiles and the quiet language of presence. A small boat waits by the shore, tethered to a wooden post by a ribbon instead of a rope, as if even the knots are made for night and kindness. You step in without disturbing the water, which is how you know this is a dream space, and the boat begins to move with a grace that needs no oars. The lantern within your chest becomes a lighthouse that travels with you, and the lake welcomes the glow like an old melody returning. As the boat glides, you notice floating lanterns appearing one by one along the surface, each one representing someone who's wished you well in ways you may have forgotten to notice. There's a lantern for every teacher who trusted your efforts, for every friend who saved you a seat, and for every stranger who held a door. There is a lantern for every version of you who kept going when it would have been easier to stop. And they're all glowing with uncomplicated praise. The boat carries you to the center of the lake, where a cluster of lily pads forms a small island, and a heron stands at the edge, practicing stillness the way an artist practices light. The heron looks at you without expectation, as if to say that resting is onda performance, and excellence is onda required for relief to happen. You bow to the heron with your breath, and the heron bows to you with its quiet presence, and the air approves with a low, contented hum. In the island's center, there's a willow whose branches have learned the art of listening, and you sit beneath it as the leaves draw a soft curtain around your shoulders. The willow remembers every breeze it's known, and it shares those stories with you in a language made entirely of gentle brushing sounds and patient shade. You'll imagine your worries tucked into tiny envelopes that the willow ties to its branches, to be held overnight and returned in the morning with calmer handwriting. The ground beneath you is warm, as if the earth has brewed a cup of tea for your bones. The scent is wildflower honey and clean rain, and the agreeable hush of night. Crickets tune their instruments to the frequency of rest, and somewhere far off, an owl shapes the air with a syllable that feels like it was designed for bedtime. Even the stars seem to lower their voices, and the moon drapes a shawl of silver over your shoulders. A shawl woven with patience and steady breath. As you lean back, that lantern at your chest brightens once, then settles to a gentle ember, the perfect wattage for dreams to find you without startling your quiet. Your inhale visits like a friendly tide again, and your exhale answers like a shoreline that knows how to listen without taking anything personally. Your body is a harbor with lights along the piers, and every ship that enters tonight is a vessel named ease, or safety, or deep sleep. The willow's leaves begin to play a memory of a wind that hasn't yet arrived, which means the future is practicing grace, and you'll be ready to meet it with calm shoulders and a trusting heart. You don't need to rehearse tomorrow, because tomorrow will practice on its own, and you'll simply bring breath to the stage when the curtain lifts. For now, your only work is the holy idleness of resting, which grows the roots of everything good that happens later. Gently scan your body once more, as if you were a lighthouse beam sweeping the shoreline, not to find trouble, but to admire how beautifully everything is already resting. Forehead smooth and open like new snow, eyes quiet behind their lids, cheeks soft, as if smiling in a dream you haven't yet remembered. Mouth easy, tongue resting in a cradle of kindness, throat unknotted, neck releasing stories it no longer needs to tell. Shoulders like clouds that have learned to float without weather, arms heavy in the way that says, a journey is complete, and the traveler has come home. Hands content, holding nothing and therefore holding everything that matters, which is the permission to be here exactly as you are. Back lengthening under the moon's blessing, chest rising and settling with the rhythm of a lullaby, older than language. Belly soft as a field after harvest. Hips wide with generosity, thighs and knees and calves, resting like hills under the sleepy guidance of stars. Ankles at ASC. Feet unburdened. Toes discovering that stillness can be a celebration when the music is breath and the dance is surrender. Your whole being is a constellation now, and every point of light is a place where you said yes to rest. If a thought arrives asking whether you're doing this correctly, you can answer with a smile felt from the inside and a sentence crafted from trust. You can say that resting isn't a test, softness isn't a competition, and your body already knows the choreography of release. Let that answer be enough, and let the question wander off to find a different evening, because this one belongs to sleep. Imagine now a gentle snowfall that's made not of cold, but of quiet. Each flake, a small permission slip drifting down to land on your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your legs. The permissions say, you may close your eyes deeper. You may loosen your grip on the day. You may step into the velvet hallway that leads to dreams. As the snowfall continues, the world grows hushed, and your breath becomes the only clock that matters. You're approaching a doorway with a curtain of night air, and on the other side is a room you've always loved without realizing it. The room has shelves of calm arranged by color, and a window that opens onto moonlit water, and a bed that wrecks your shape as if it were built from your favorite memories. You step through the curtain, and the room greets you with a hush that feels like a long-awaited welcome home. The bed invites you to lie down within your own body, which is the most comfortable bed of all, and you accept with gratitude that hums like a lullaby through your bones. Your pillow carries the scent of safety. Your blanket carries the weight of reassurance, and your breath carries the rhythm of the tide, pulling you softly into the deeper bay. You close your inner eyes even more, which is a miracle considering they were already closed. And you discover there's always another layer of gentle darkness to hold you. The lantern of your chest becomes a tender ember now, just bright enough to guide the dream moth that flutters into the room to land and fold its wings. This dream moth is an old companion who understands the geography of your rest, and it settles on the windowsill like a guardian with velvet feet. Its presence tells you that the night watches over you with a patience that won't tire before morning. You can let the boat on the lake drift back to shore on its own, because dreams have good manners and return their borrowed things. You can let the willow hold your envelopes until sunrise, because worries often look smaller after sleeping in the cool shade of a friendly tree. You can let the heron keep practicing stillness, because you've learned what you needed from its lesson, and now you're ready to practice stillness in your own language of breath. Your breath now moves like a drowsy swing on a porch in summer, each arc a little slower than the last, each return more certain than the one before. The porch light is dim and golden. Your chair is creaking in the most comforting way, and the night air carries the faintest trace of something sweet and familiar. You don't need to name it to enjoy it, and you don't need to hold it to keep it, because it's decided to stay as long as you do. Trust that sleep is already walking towards you, unhurried and sure, carrying a blanket of stars and a small bowl of silence. Trust that your body hears the invitation, your mind recognizes the path, and your heart knows the key to this doorway has always been your breath. Trust that you've done enough for today, and that enoughness is a cradle you can lie in without explaining yourself to anyone, not even to yourself. You're safe in this room that exists within your own calm, and you're held by a night that believes in your right to rest deeply. If morning wishes to arrive later, it'll find you, and it'll be gentle, because it'll see the peace you made for yourself here. Until then, you may wander slowly down the hallway of dreams, where every door opens into a scene that feels like a memory of a place you love. You're doing wonderful. With the next breath, let your thoughts dissolve into the lake's smooth surface, and let your body become the shoreline where the world meets rest. Now, Let's fly across the sleepy night sky. Allow your breath to be the wings, steady and slow, rising with the inhale and gliding with the exhale, as if the air were a gentle ribbon unfurling ahead of you. There's no rush in this journey, because the night has drawn a map made entirely of kindness, and every path upon it bends towards deeper rest. Feel your body settle, even as your imagination begins its quiet travel, because stillness and motion can be companions when the motion is made of thought and tenderness. The bed holds you like the earth holds the roots of a beloved tree, and the breath moves through you like a stream that's chosen the most peaceful valley. Your forehead smooths, your jaw softens, and your tongue rests like a leaf floating on a pond that reflects the earliest stars. Above you, the sky opens into a field of velvet stitched with constellations that look like stories you once heard at the edge of sleep. You don't need to name the patterns or remember the myths, because the stars are here not to quiz you, but to accompany you with their steady brightness. Each point of light offers a small promise that tonight you'll be guided gently, the way a lantern guides a traveler down a familiar lane. In your mind's eye, you feel the lightness arrive, the sensation of lifting from the day without leaving your body, like a sigh that becomes an invitation to float. The first drift takes you over a quiet neighborhood where windows glow in drowsy gold and curtains breathe with the rhythm of evening air. Street lights hum their friendly tune whilst the world slows its footsteps, and you glide onward with the patience of a cloud that's learned to rest while moving. Your breath guides the way, gently lengthening the exhale so the glide becomes smoother, and deepening the inhale so the lantern of your chest glows warmer. With every breath, you rise a little higher into ease, and a little deeper into calm. Like a feather finding the softest pocket of air, you carry only what's weightless, which is to say, you carry your presence and your kindness, and you set down everything else for the night to hold below you. A river threads through the dark like a silver ribbon, turning and turning until it looks like a lullaby written in cursive. The water speaks in a language of hush and glide, and its voice travels upward to meet you with the simple message that you may rest. You listen, and the listening feels like a door opening to a room lit by starlight, a room where the furniture is made of trust. Ahead, a gentle hill rises from the landscape, like the back of a sleeping whale, and upon that hill stands a windmill whose sails turn slowly, measuring the night in graceful circles. The windmill isn't in a hurry because rest has no schedule beyond the rhythm of your breathing, and you're exactly on time for your own peace. You drift past, and the turning blades wave to you with a calm that says you're welcome wherever softness lives. The stars are bright enough to see a path of glowing stones that appears beneath you, like stepping stones in the sky, placed there by someone who knew you'd arrive. Each stone is warm to the imagination and perfectly spaced for your floating footfall, though you don't need to step at all because you're gliding on the breath. You pass over the stones and feel their gentle promise that every small act of care you offered yourself today has become part of the way forward. You notice the night has a scent, and it's the scent of cool water, soft pine, and the faint sweetness of clover pressed between pages of a book. The scent is restful without insisting on attention, and it braids itself into your breathing so quietly that peace becomes the most natural thing. You release a little more of the day, and you find that nothing is lost by letting go, because what matters most becomes lighter and easier to carry. In the distance, a lake appears like a mirror, the moon set down to admire herself, and across the surface float small paper boats carrying candle flames. The boats drift in tidy, unhurried patterns, and their reflections make a second fleet below the surface. Twin lanterns traveling through a silver world. As you pass above, one of the boats tips its flame towards you, as if nodding to a fellow traveler on the quiet road to rest. Your shoulders loosen another measure, and your hands feel pleasantly heavy, like river stones warmed by gentle sun. Your belly moves with a tide of breath, rising and settling with an ease that needs no direction, because the body remembers how to soothe itself when given space. The bed beneath you is steady as shoreline, and you're a wave that's learned the art of returning peacefully. Now the sky shifts tone, deepening into an even softer blue-black, and faint ribbons of aurora begin to unfurl like silken scarves. Colors move in slow conversation, not to dazzle you, but to reassure you that the night is alive with kindness in every direction. You glide through the luminous fabric as if passing through a curtain of sleep, emerging on the quieter side where dreams gather like friendly birds at dawn. A small owl joins you for a while, flying beside your shoulder with silent wings that write calm into the air. The owl understands there's nothing to catch and nothing to chase, only the pleasant company of traveling near someone who's learning deeper rests. When the owl turns away towards a pine grove, you feel gratitude move through you like a warm current, and that gratitude softens the breath even more. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your night. May you find deep peace and restful sleep. Wishing you the sweetest dreams. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.